welcome to the Esports Awards Origins podcast. I'm your host, Quickshot, and today I get to speak to quite literally one of the coolest human beings on the planet, and definitely one of the coolest people in gaming and esports. It's Tryke Gutierrez.
Yes.
I'm trying so hard, but it's hard on my tongue. Dude, can I ask you just to explain to our viewers who you are and where you're from?
So I personally grew up in Japan, basically, but I reside in the Philippines in Manila. I'm a CEO of Blacklist International and Tier 1 Entertainment. So for those who don't know, Tier 1 Entertainment is basically a talent management company when it started, and it managed creators from the get-go. But eventually it became an esports team. We did a lot of like other things and stuff. But yeah, like I think outside of like the business side of me, I'm just a person who loves playing video games and is into a lot of other things.
I will say this again. I'm going to promote his Instagram for him. You need to follow him, Tryke Gutierrez, because he's seriously one of the coolest. I will say very quickly.
I think you're overselling me.
No, I'm not. Dude, I'm not. I speak to a lot of people. But also, I had a lot of fun with Blacklist last year for the EWC Central broadcast. We had so many of your teams and players and influencers coming through. And it's some of the wildest interviews I've ever done in my life.
Sure.
And you were just hiding in the back. You're like, I'm not involved, bro. Okay, because this is Origins, what got you into gaming? What got you into esports?
So yeah, like my background in Japan obviously like has brought me to a lot of Nintendo growing up, like Game Boy. I played a lot of Mario. I played a lot of like Pokemon, and at the end of the day, like I used to play a lot of Final Fantasy. I'm not sure if you played.
Of course, I have
Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10.
I have a Final Fantasy 7 tattoo on my back. So yeah, I take it very seriously.
So I played all that. And then right after, I kind of like became a regular muggle. I guess like a regular human being. You know, like went out on a different journey. Obviously, like going out, partying, like in college and all of these things. But I eventually found my way into gaming through Dota 1.
Okay.
And that's a game I really fell in love with. And since then, I never left. You know, like I became a shoutcaster, an events organizer, from computer cafes to, you know, like convention centers to arenas. And then eventually, like I saw that creating an opportunity in esports is not within esports.
Yeah.
So that's when I co-founded, you know, like obviously Tier 1 Entertainment, and found kind of like a different vantage point or perspective of looking at esports by looking at entertainment in gaming first.
This is
and then eventually esports.
This is partially why I have so much respect for, again, the product and the events and the companies that you work for. Just quickly before we build on that, which Final Fantasy is your favorite?
For me, 7.
Which Final Fantasy is the best?
7.
Okay, just checking. My favorite is 8, but I think 7's the best. So
I think 8 was the best story.
I was an edgy teenager and I was a bit emo, so Squall just like spoke to my soul. Okay, I
get that.
You talk about the business of esports, and Blacklist and Tier 1. They complement one another. How are they different? And if you're comfortable, how old were you when you started them?
I'm not comfortable.
That's why.
But I was young. I can say I was young.
That's why, by the way. Okay, we talked to some very incredible, very successful young entrepreneurs, and that was the point I wanted to make. Okay. So thank you.
Yes, I was young. I think the thinking was this, right? When we built Tier 1, it was really about entertainment and media, right? We were thinking influencers, streamers, YouTubers, content creators, and the problem was, there was so much noise and clout, but we didn't kind of like have the credibility and the stamp of approval of the community, because people were thinking we're just there for the attention.
Yeah.
So I think putting kind of like a rallying cry behind what we do in terms of like the cause, just like what Man U does in terms of like, you know, like all of these football teams, basketball teams, like I think having an esports team provided the fans something to look at in terms of Tier 1's real purpose, right? And that resonated to a lot of gamers, because now you're not just looking at a company that developed the biggest stars. It also produces, you know, like the champions that compete in different titles.
Do you think it's fair to say it's the opposite way that most go about it?
Yes.
From what I see, it's a gaming team first, and they go, we are building these stars. Why are we not taking advantage of managing and pushing content and stuff? Then it becomes an agency.
Yes.
But you have kind of come at this agency first and then go, oh, we kind of need to formalize is the right word, because
Yes.
I'm trying to like, like put some structure to it.
Yes. I mean, and then I always have said this like multiple times that the blueprint was K-pop, right?
Yep.
You look at like the K-pop industry, there was a full infrastructure on how to develop, like I guess Hollywood stars on that
Correct.
note. And it was built very differently. And the way we see it is like, I think it takes a very different discipline to find attention in social media and the internet versus like competing in titles.
Yeah.
Like I think it's two different disciplines in my
Completely agree. Can you help explain to maybe more sort of European Western viewers, listeners, esports awards, viewers, where is Blacklist the biggest? What is it that you say is like your golden star, your golden goose, And if they haven't heard of you, why not?
I think for the most part, when we tried competing in PC games before, in my opinion, esports is kind of like an experience-based game. In my opinion, I mean, if you look at the games such as Counter-Strike that are so strong in Europe, you have like League of Legends, like are strong in Europe, China, like Korea also. I think there's a certain merit to like esports athletes getting better when the games are played longer in a certain geography.
Correct. You need that legacy.
Yeah. And I feel like Southeast Asia has never been there in terms of PC games because access to PCs are not normal in our area.
Yeah.
Even an access to like a fast speed internet, like for the most part, meaning like we came in late. But I think when mobile came in and the advent of mobile kind of like started, right? We were first in mobile. And that's the reason why if you look at EWC, like the champion of Mobile Legends today is Team Liquid.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of like Southeast Asian champions outside of like mobile right now. So I think that shows that we're ahead. And maybe that's the reason why like people haven't heard about it because I get it, right? I grew up in a first world country too. Where like mobile games, like is that a real thing? So
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
I want to add that caveat because I was one of those people that was ignorant. I wouldn't say I was ever disrespectful. I remember growing up, I'm nearly 40 now. I watched a game called Asphalt Racing 3 that was played on old Nokia phones at the Electronic Sports World Cup, ESWC. I'm talking 20 years ago. A cell phone racing game, and it was won by like a 15-year-old girl. And I just remember seeing that. It was off. Mobile gaming, mobile competition, when we look at MLBB, we look at Honor of Kings, we look at PUBG Mobile, Free Fire, it is a massive, massive market. And it is one that the Western countries are respectfully fucking late to. And it's going to be the things. I think we'll see more PC and console competitions growing in more mobile areas as access and things comes. And I think we'll see mobile gaming growing in these other markets as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think life has always been a series of gatekeeping.
Yeah. Oh, very fair.
We started with sports and esports.
Yeah.
Now PC into mobile.
Listen,
and then mobile into AI.
Nerds and mainstream. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like it took a long time for that.
Yeah. So I think like there's always a natural resistance to things when things are changing and things are evolving. But I do feel like it's coming, like there's just so much development in the mobile space right now. And you see like kids today, like not so savvy about like computers versus like iPads or like mobile
bothers
phones.
me so much. I have a bone to pick with so many professional PC game players. Like I met a lot of guys from League of Legends, Dota, Valorant, CS that don't know like what a motherboard is and don't know. Now, this is a personal issue. I know this is my bias because I had to learn it growing up. But I've said for a long time that with this next generation of children growing up, having access to, the consoles, the internet, the mobile phones that they have nowadays, that generation will be the one that just normalizes things.
Yeah,
because,
but I do think like the biggest challenge, given that this is esports origins too, is also the ecosystem of esports today. And I think I've talked about it multiple times in my LinkedIn channel. One of the, indirectly answering your past question, right? Our biggest, like, I guess, title was Mobile Legends, but I had to let it go because, like the capex or the capital that I had to spend to buy a franchise fee was something I couldn't see an ROI in.
Yeah.
If I don't resell it, right? And I sold it to Falcons, which became kind of like a big news in the whole Mobile Legends space and in the Philippines too.
And it was another great business decision from a strong business leader. So
yeah,
it's an emotional one.
It was such an unpopular opinion though. Like I got really bashed for it. But my thing is, objectively as a CEO, I also am liable to my investors to make sure that I make the right business decision.
Yeah.
But I guess where I'm going with this is like, my question in my head is, where is the esports ecosystem really
Agreed.
going?
Agreed.
Right?
The,
Like,
the problem is we've never lived this, right? This is brand new. I did a lot of research on the origins of NFL, and you know, it's as a league and everything. It's over 100 years old. It started as two different leagues completely. They joined. Teams have come and gone. It existed for the very first time when they broadcast in like 1950. One television, one block in New York got to do it. So when that league gets developed, and you think about the branding, you think about the sponsors, it took 30 or 40 years.
True.
Now, it's not the same time. It's going, 1950s to 1980s. And then it starts to become the beast that we recognize today, which is why I think they're up to like Super Bowl 50. They only count from once it became like a grown-up league.
yeah, but I can say, like, maybe this is going to be like a very, I guess, like, controversial opinion, but you don't start it by asking, like, franchise owners multi-million dollars to
I agree
pay
with you. Yeah.
on top of an
That
OPEX
tells
that you
you-
still need to pay.
That tells you more about, I think, the market in which esports is being funded. But I agree with you. I think fundamentally and foundationally, esports hasn't quite found its soul. Maybe not the right word, but like its structure.
Because there's a lot of missing pieces, right? If you look at sports, like, a lot of the revenues are really coming in from like media rights and then on-site ticket sales, which esports doesn't have.
No.
So I think
We also have a culture where everything's free as well.
Yeah,
Streaming for free and stuff like that. So
everything's free. Like, there's no exclusive deals in terms of like social media channels too, because like the games want discoverability over revenue.
correct.
And I think all of these things like are for esports to figure out. For me, I trust that we will figure it out, just because we came so far from where we were.
Yeah.
But I do think that
By we, you mean Tier 1 and
the whole
Blacklist?
esports,
Okay.
the whole of esports.
Because I believe in you. Dude. I'm behind you, man. Hey, you have my bow. You have my sword.
Thank you. But I'm just saying, like, I think like to have the World Cup,
Yeah.
like to see like
Yeah.
esports in traditional sporting events, I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
But the reality is we never really figured out the foundations and the right configurations in terms of a business for teams.
Yes. Yeah.
And given that the teams are integral part of what esports is.
I would think so. Yes.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's a problem for the publishers. It's a problem for the leagues. That's a problem for CEOs like me, I
Oh,
guess.
you know what? We don't have a significant amount of time.
Oh, no
But
problem.
what I love is, this is something I'm going to hold over your head to say we need to have a longer conversation about.
Okay.
Because I really enjoy the back and forth, and I really like the ideas. But what I do want to do is, because we're going to run out, what are we here for? You're at the Esports World Cup. We're at the NGSC conference. NGSC. I said the conference twice. What are you getting up to this week?
For me, it was just meeting like multiple clients, friends, and obviously like some of my investors too. Like Jens Hilgers is one of my heroes. I always tell this to a lot of people because
I've been side by side with him for a decade as well.
yeah, well, people were looking up at a lot of like esports players and content creators. I was looking up at Jens
Correct.
because I felt like building a company is what.
For me,
Is-
it was
is-
Jason Lake from Complexity.
Okay,
I was
okay.
like, that's a Counter-Strike guy who's traveling in a businessman.
Yeah.
He was the one that inspired me to learn
Yeah,
business.
so for me it was this, right? Like I was thinking entrepreneurship is what can create impact on a long-term basis. And as much as I can be a content creator, as much as I can be, I might not be able to be an esports player. I
Yeah.
wish to, but I can't.
Me too.
Yeah, but like what I can say is like Jens was really like my hero growing up. So I watched his videos, like thought of his principles, and for him to be part of my journey in terms of tier 1, I think I'm very thankful of that. And that's a big reason why maybe we're successful, or
If
maybe
you-
we achieve what we achieve.
If you'll allow me to, when I learned about Blacklist, when I learned about Tier 1, and I learned a lot last year because we spent a lot of time off camera together.
Yes.
And I have a deep love for everybody in your organization,
Mhm.
even though you brought me some of the craziest influencers I've ever had. Okay. But I love you for it.
Mm.
I see parallels. You know what I mean? I see the company that you've built. I see the decision making. And again, I got to watch the companies that Bitcraft and Jens got involved in.
Mm.
And I just want to congratulate you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I want to ask, where can people find you? Where can people find your companies? If you were going to do a complete sellout to that camera, do it now.
You can follow me at Tryke Gutierrez. I'm mostly active in Instagram, LinkedIn, partly YouTube. At times I stopped like vlogging and stuff, but right now I'm trying to go back and like create more content. I call it CCTV content now, where I just
Yes.
put like a camera somewhere and then
Where
I
is your
like
camera? You set it
like
up there.
that,
Okay, take
yeah.
a hello.
Just to show like what I do. But yeah, like follow Tier 1 Entertainment, follow Blacklist International. We're now getting into gaming, music, and arts. We feel like the whole entertainment space, gaming is never going to be like out of it. Gaming is a big part of it, but we also want to expand our creative culture in other areas such as like arts and music, which I think is a very exciting next chapter for us.
I've got one last question. This is very personal. This is just
Mhm.
from me because I just before we started, I said to Tryke that I hate watch his Instagram. It comes from a place of immense jealousy. And also, I'm very happy for you. In the last year, what has been your favorite trip or travel or event that you've done? You have to pick one.
For me, I think the Hong Kong, the rugby event in Hong Kong.
Okay.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Like, it was my first. I don't even watch rugby.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you
I
knew what the
don't
game
even
was.
watch rugby, but like the whole vibe was amazing. Like it's people from different places just enjoying, drinking, and everything. And like that's when I kind of like realized the power of sports.
Yeah.
The
Again,
power of sports.
I really hope we get to have a longer form conversation one day. Tryke, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for the time.
And also thank you because we literally stole him from Jens. So thank you, Jens. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
We're
thank
good.
you.
Well, thanks so much for tuning into the Esports Awards. Do not forget to follow us on our socials at Esports Awards for the latest news, highlights, and behind the scenes moments. And we'll see you next time.